The meeting will come to order. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Education. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Victoria Boucher.
United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Miss Christine Bello.
Here.
Miss Thomasina Bello.
Here.
Miss Mackenzie Boucher. Miss Victoria Boucher.
Here.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Here.
Mr. Duray.
Here.
Mr. Howard. Miss Politti.
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
Here.
First up on the agenda is student recognition from the My Brother's Keeper group.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Vaughn, NECSD Executive Cabinet, and board members. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share MBK with you in our community. I am Dr. Christy Brown, your MBK facilitator, and I am accompanied by the presence of some of our fellows mentors and our awesome young men who have really outshined, and you're going to get a chance to see some of that this evening. My Brother's Keeper is an initiative that was spearheaded in 2014 by former President Barack Obama to uplift boys and young men of color. Let's take a look at what he has to say. Oh. There we go.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I've come to appreciate over the last decade is that improving the lives of boys and young men of color is bigger than any one person or group of people. It requires everybody. Parents, neighbors, teachers, administrators, local governments, everybody in between, all working together to make a difference. And I'm really proud that My Brother's Keeper has grown a lot over the last 10 years. Right now, over 100 communities are part of the MBK Leadership Network, and the impact has been pretty amazing. An entire generation of boys and young men of color have gone through this program, and we've heard so many stories of young men who are about to drop out of school before they joined MBK. Now a lot of them have their degrees or are leading MBK's work in their own communities. Sadly, we have lost some young men along the way, often to incarceration or gun violence. And every time that happens, it's a painful reminder that there's a lot more work to do. We've also learned that every generation brings its own set of problems and complexities. Kids these days are dealing with different challenges than there were even 10 years ago. Things like social media and how they're handling issues of mental health, young people who've gone through the pandemic, kids dropping out of school during the pandemic and never going back, and losing touch with the institutions that might give them some sense of a pathway forward. But, instead of seeing all these new challenges as an insurmountable hurdle, we think of it as an opportunity to listen and get to know young people, figure out what they need. Most of all, to let them know that they matter. Because some things will always be the same. Young people need a good education, they need good jobs, they need safe neighborhoods. Those things form the basis of the MBK Alliance's 6 milestones, which anchor all of the work that we do. And that's why I'm so proud of MBK. It's why it's a core program of the Obama Foundation. We are going to continue in this work to make sure that boys of color know that somebody is thinking about them, cares about them, believes in them, and that we're also sending a message to the broader society that if we invest in this incredible resource, that's not just good for those individual young men. It's going to be good for our entire society. And that's why we're here today, to bolster and reinforce our boys and young men of color. And we're committed to building on what works, and we call it My Brother's Keeper.
So as Barack Obama states, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek.
Directly, where you were
That video's still playing.
heard that Dr. King had been shot.
Well, Mr. President, on April 4th, 1968.
My Brother's Keeper was founded on 6 national milestones that include the following: ensuring that all children enter school ready to learn, are reading on grade level by 3rd grade, graduate from high school, college, and career ready, complete post-secondary education or training, are employed and successfully enter the workforce, and remain safe from violent crime and receive a second chance. With a majority minority population enthralled by socioeconomic disadvantage, we have been fortunate as a district to receive 3 MBK grants that will greatly serve both our scholars and our community. Our largest of the 3 is our Challenge Grant. And this grant is aligned with 3 milestones that support children entering school ready to learn, reading on grade level by 3rd grade through Newburgh Basics, and financial literacy education through students in grades K through 12. Our Family and Community Engagement Grant strengthens partnerships between schools, families, and communities to support the success of our scholars in grades K through 12 through culturally responsive engagement, shared leadership, and alignment to key educational milestones. Our Fellows Grant, which we will be highlighting this evening, empowers young men through a brotherhood of collaboration and connection, providing authentic leadership experience. And Lord knows we have called these gentlemen to do a lot, and they have stepped up to every single occasion, community service and engagement. Tonight we'll be highlighting our Fellows Grant as we have our amazing young men here to give you a taste of what MBK is all about. First up, we have our awesome man, Carlos Barrios.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Barrios, and I am a 2025 MBK Fellow. So, I'm service. What does service mean to me? Service means to me to be there for the community, be there for my family, and be there for my brothers. What does service look like as an MBK Fellow? Service looks like to be there no matter what. To be there, either you're sick, sad, just be there. To help others, just like they will help you. Help the community as they will protect you. How has my service affected others? My service brings smiles, brings happiness, brings comfort. It also brings a peace to the community as I proved myself to be a true MBK Fellow. Now, I want to present my brother, Ajay Johnson. He's not here currently, but he's at a lacrosse game. But we have a video for him to speak.
Hello, my name is Ajay Johnson, and my slide is about leadership. How does someone learn to lead? You learn to lead by being thrown into the position of a leader. You're just not talked to about how to be a leader. No, you are thrown, forcefully put into the position of being a leader. You have to start somewhere. And MBK perfectly provides that opportunity. Not only is MBK a positive reinforcement, a positive space, but they make you get out of your comfortability and go into the unknown. And not only do they make you go into the unknown, they make you go into the unknown with support. They don't make you feel like you're going through it alone. And that's what we need. We need people, we need mentors to be there for us, especially when we're just starting off. We need there to be people for us that will unanimously, unconditionally support us through whatever we're going through that may be uncomfortable. Because of them supporting us, it allows us to keep on going. It allows us to keep on developing the skills of becoming a leader. Because you're just not born with it. Everyone's a leader. You just have to grind and refine the skills of what it takes to be a leader. Now, why is it important for there to be leaders? Without leaders, there's chaos. Without leaders, people will be lost. People will just be cooped up, not knowing what to do, and going on with their everyday life. Now with leaders, it allows people to have a vision. It allows people to sometimes live, to look forward to another day. Leaders help put power into their followers. As leaders help people to realize what there can be in the future. Now with every great leader, there has always been other people to take that powerful leadership and become leaders themselves. And because they're becoming leaders themselves, and since they're in such different fields from each other, people start to think to themselves like, is this something that I can actually really do? Why have I not taken the advantage of trying to lead somebody? Now, I would have not thought I'd be in this position right now 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I thought I would just be cooped up in my room by myself and doing what needs to be done to get by. But MBK helped me realize that by doing that really has no substance. That just being by yourself, not wanting to help uplift one another, help uplift those in your community, is doing such a disingenuous job to what it means to be as a black man, since we're such disadvantaged. I could be the example for the ones that comes after me. And that's why leadership is such a core belief in MBK's vision. Leadership helps those who've learned from other leaders, taking their wisdom and pass it on to the younger generation. There's a saying in MBK saying, we lift as we climb. As we get higher and higher in either our economic status or our psychological development, whatever we learned over the years, we bring those that are struggling, we bring those that are wandering, and we help them see the light. We help them see what there is that they can accomplish. And there's a lot. And MBK has helped me realize that life isn't only to sit around, do what needs to be done, make money, buy groceries. No. That being someone's mentor can highly impact someone's life, and they could bring that knowledge onto other people. As my mentor has helped me to actually be more patient and be more understanding towards others. Help me think before I speak, as that also is a great trait of a great leader. Thank you, and I pass it on to my brother Akir.
And as my brother Ajay said, we pass it on to Akir McNeil.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Akir McNeil. I am the senior class president of NFAE High Schools, and I am a proud MBK fellow. The pillar of MBK that I'll be speaking about tonight is community. I'll open my presentation up with a little poem. Community is the heartbeat of hope, a circle of souls standing shoulder to shoulder, where voices rise not in competition but harmony, lifting each other higher and higher. Fostering a sense of community within a program like MBK, school, or city is important because it builds trust, it formulates a supportive environment, and it encourages collaboration. What role does MBK Fellows play in our community? Within our wonderful community, MBK Fellows are the forefront of leadership. From mentoring our peers or hosting and helping out with community events like the Holiday Bazaar, the Backpack Giveaway, School is Cool, or the Family Reading Day, and more. MBK Fellows are constantly working to rewrite the narrative that is placed on us young men of color. Us young men of color you see here today are not just the future. We are the present, actively shaping our communities. How does our community impact our leadership? Coming from a city such as Newburgh, a community that is often overlooked or misunderstood, and whose negatives outweigh its abundant positives, truly impacts the leadership of us fellows. We see the ugly that goes on. However, it doesn't deter us from doing what has to be done. It fuels us, and it reminds us of our job to counteract that narrative with our leadership. It fuels us to take matters into our own hands and to be the change that we want to see. We are Newburgh, and more importantly, we are Go Backs. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to pass the mic to my brother, Josiah Peterson.
Good evening. My name is Josiah Peterson, and I'm a proud MBK fellow. So the pillar of MBK I'll be talking about is brotherhood. And first, I want to start off with what is the true meaning of brotherhood? Brotherhood is the strongest connection that a young man of color can build with his fellow man. It is deeper than friendship. When I call somebody my brother, that means I'm willing to lay down my life in order to make theirs better. If you are my brother, that means if you need something and I can get it to you, you will have it. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And now, why is brotherhood important for young men of color? Like I already said, it is the strongest tool a young man of color can have. And as minorities, with the disadvantage that we are placed in at birth, especially living in a city like Newburgh that is looked down upon by even our closest neighbors and peers, we need every tool that we can get. Brotherhood holds us together. It holds us up, and it holds us to a standard that allows us to become better every single day. And MBK promotes this brotherhood. To me, the first example of it was back in middle school, where my mentor, Mr. Poinsett, he took together a random group of boys that he saw potential in, and he brought us to his own version of MBK that he ran off his own funding. And we went from a couple of boys who couldn't even recognize each other in the hallway to brothers who would do anything to see each other smile and laugh, because that is the true power of young men of color. If we can take this tool and take this power and give this to all young men of color around the world, we will be able to reshape our community and the stigma around us into something that is great. And we can unlock the power that is hidden away within each young man of color. And that is what MBK does that's what MBK does and will continue to do. Another tool that I believe to be incredibly important to a young man of color is their voice. If you know how to harness your voice, you could use it to move mountains with speeches and the ability to stand up for your brother in need. MBK taught me how to use my voice. I came out of middle school with such bad crippling social anxiety, I couldn't even go to the gas station to pay for my mom's gas for the car. With MBK, I've been to Albany speaking in front of people like the Chancellor of Regents, just incredibly powerful people in the school district that I would have never imagined. Just incredibly powerful people in the school district I would have never imagined sharing a room with. And because of MBK and the power that it's given me, I was able to stand in front of those people and make my voice heard and share my power and my message. Thank you.
Okay. As MBK Fellows, it is mandated that we attend 2 leadership symposiums within the year where we are among other brilliant young men of color from our state and our state's Department of Education leaders. These leaders pour into us young men, nurturing our leadership. This past symposium in the beginning of the month that we attended, the fellows who are continuing the work have been inducted. For the 2025 to 2026 school year, the fellows that will serve our community and schools are Raiden Gold, Rich Schneider Guerre, Cameron Ford, and Tamir Mann. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our mentors. I would like to give my mentor, Dr. Brown, a special thanks for everything he's done for me. And yeah, I would like to turn it over to my brother, Carlos Barrios.
My mentor, Mr. Donaldson, couldn't be here today, but a few things that I want to talk about him is he is very patient, especially with my busy work schedule. I go from school straight to work and then work at home. And he's always checking up on me. He's always, always patient with the late replies at night. But he's a person that's someone I could talk to when I'm nervous, when I'm scared, when I just need help. He's taught me life skills. He's teaching me how to invest, teaching me, sending me books that I should be reading, telling me, oh, do you need help? Do you need help with your fast food? He's always there. And we go to Two Alice Cafe sometimes and have a bagel and a coffee, and we always just talk. And that's something young boys need sometimes. We just need to let go of things, and he's an amazing mentor. I would like to bring up Mr. Conway to speak about, give a couple words.
Good evening, good evening. I love to teach. I'm a 5th grade teacher in the district. I am a proud My Brother's Keeper mentor. This was my first year, hopefully not my last. Just because I'm excited to be a mentor. Mentorship is the cornerstone of a thriving community. My Brother's Keeper, I like to think, also stands for making brave kings, marching benevolent knights. We need to pour into our young people. A lot of people complain about young men, but they don't talk to young men. Young people don't feel heard, they don't feel supported. And I know the reason I'm a mentor, because that's what I needed. I needed someone to pour into me and let me know that I was okay, that my uniqueness, my difference made a difference. I almost dropped out of high school. And look at me being a teacher now. A few words will change your life. My experience has made me a better leader. I understand leadership is you are empowered to empower others. I understand being a leader means you have to be a good follower. When we were in Albany, it was one of the greatest experiences I had, where there was all these young men, well-dressed, demonstrating their academic prowess, being forced to get over their public fears of public speaking. and they all did well, especially Newburgh. Newburgh, we did well, didn't we? We did well. They remembered us. They remembered us. You know, we set the gold standard. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day. And it really inspired me. It made me emotional that this is what blackness means to me. On the media, it looks like blackness is one thing. But in our communities, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of commitment to each other. And that's what I saw there. And that's what I saw young men doing for the next generation. And it made me excited to say, I'm going to be a part of this in this school district. It was beautiful. We went outside, we went to get an Uber, and we faced some discrimination. And it was heartbreaking. I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it, because why? You know? Because of our skin color, because our economic status, our perceived economic status. This is why we need My Brother's Keeper. To let our young men, whether economic status or ethnic status, they need to know that they're powerful and they're beautiful beyond anybody's opinion. And we make brave kings. We make marching, benevolent knights. Because we are our brother's keeper. You all are our brother's keeper. Mr. Howard, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for pouring into me so I could pour into them. Thank you for setting that example. I pass it on to my fellow mentor, Mr. Poinsett.
Good evening, everyone. Ms. Bello, distinguished members of the NECSD Board of Education, Dr. Buon, and the district's executive staff. Forgive me, it is allergy season. Welcome all community members and all other invested parties here tonight. My name is Robert Poinsett, and I currently serve as a career and technical education teacher, a sports coach, and an MBK mentor in this district. I come before you this evening asking you to receive my testimony, not just as an educator, but as a professional with a broader career perspective. Outside of my tenure in the classroom, I bring over 15 years of leadership and management experience, including Director of Call Center Operations at Mount Sinai Hospital, Director of Patient and Healthcare Access at St. Luke's Hospital here in Newburgh, and a manager of a small business. The skills I developed in these roles, from corporate literacy to strategic planning and employee development, enabled me to advocate for myself to the state education department of New York and ultimately obtain my teaching license. These same skills are what I now bring into the classroom to empower our students to advocate for themselves and learn how to function in society. Because of my experience managing teams and engaging directly with the workforce, I've witnessed how deficiencies in literacy and career readiness have held so many people back, particularly in underserved communities.
Point of order, Madam President. It's 7 p.m. and the public hearing on the budget must start at 7 p.m.
Thank you for your time.
So that's a tough act to follow. You know, I've been in the district, which one is it? I've been in the district for 20 years professionally, and I'm a graduate of NFA as well.
I just want to say the public hearing is now open.
Thanks. And a program like MBK, to me, is the epitome of collaboration, right? So the work from central office, Dr. Freeman Mack, to school leadership, the educators and community members, these folks and these young men, we should all be proud of the work and your future and what it holds for you. So thank you. So with that said, I'm here to give the presentation on the district's fiscal year 2026 budget. So the first slide, you can see the budget to budget increase year over year. Last year, the budget increase was 7%, and this year's proposal is for a 5.6% budget increase. On the bottom of that slide, you can see the tax levy increase, and for 8 of the 9 previous years, there has been a 0% tax increase, and the proposal for this year is again to have a 0% tax increase. So the next slide speaks to the tax levy calculation, which we are required to provide to the state comptroller each year. The top line shows the proposed tax levy, and this is the same tax levy as last year. And if you go to the bottom of that slide, you can see that the tax levy percent increase is 0%. So the next slide, we look at various sources of revenue for the district. You can see there are state sources which come in at over $245 million, federal sources which are $660,000, local sources at over $123 million, and then we have appropriated reserves of $1.2 million and the appropriated fund balance of approximately $8 million, right, with the total revenue of projected to be $379,252,199. On the next slide, we look at state aid. In fiscal year 25, the state aid increased from the previous year by $12 million. For fiscal year 26, state aid is expected to increase by $20.2 million due to significant increase in excess costs. And all of this has been discussed in the previous budget development presentations. So we also have other sources of revenue. If you notice, the largest part of this is to come from interest, which is based on the Federal Reserve tax rates, and we're expecting that other revenue to total approximately $3.6 million for next year. And the next slide shows the 3-part budget. This, again, is a requirement that from the state on a way for us to share the budget, and it breaks down the different components of the budget for next year between administration, which is building, district administration, HR, C&I, data and technology, capital, which includes operations and maintenance, as well as debt service, and then the largest portion of the budget, which is programmatic, which is instructional costs, transportation, exceptional learners, and E&L programming. And you can see from budget to budget that breakdown, those 3 parts, the percentages within the budget remain relatively similar, right? So the percentages within the budget are relatively the same year over year. For this year's school budget, there's 4 propositions that are on the ballot. Proposition 1 is the school district proposed budget. Proposition 2 is the Newburgh Free Library's proposed tax levy, which Mr. Gawker presented to you. Proposition 3, which we've discussed in previous budget development presentations, is for improvements to the Newburgh Free Academy North Campus Auditorium. And Proposition 4 is for the Fostertown and Gardnertown clean energy improvements, which is contingent upon grant funding. In addition to the 4 propositions on the ballot on May 20th, there are 3 school board member seats up for election with 8 candidates that are listed there. And voting is on Tuesday, May 20th, and polls are open from noon until 9 p.m. Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
So my questions in regard to this budget revolve around district monies set aside for lawsuit settlements and for litigation costs as both plaintiffs and defendants. Madam President Bello, Board Member Bello, Madam Vice President Boucher, Board Member Boucher, Board Member Stewart, I have the following questions that I would like to ask you as the majority and leadership of the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. Were you, the board majority, aware of the pending lawsuit by your choice for acting superintendent when collectively you approved her?
This is comments on the budget.
That is correct. This is a budget item that monies that we have for lawsuit settlements and litigation costs. It's just about the budget. It's questions to the board members in relation to the budget.
Just about that one particular item, and then just...
No, I have a bunch of questions related to that.
No, it's not appropriate for the budget hearing.
Mr. Shaw, is this appropriate? This is not a board meeting. This is a budget presentation.
The public is given an opportunity to ask questions about the matters covered by the budget. There is no duty to answer. There's no responsibility for individual board members to answer. You certainly have the right to comment about what's in the budget, whether what's in the budget covers what may be expected expenses.
Okay. So were you, the board majority, aware of the pending lawsuit by your choice for acting superintendent when collectively you approved her to lead the district, although others far more qualified were available? Were you aware in the lawsuit the acting superintendent is suing many, including the suspended superintendent, the former deputy superintendent, the current assistant superintendent of exceptional learners, and the NECSD district itself? How in the world do you expect the acting superintendent, who is now suing the district again, to be the standard bearer of protecting our district, our employees, our finances, and our stature? How will she lead the district's defense when she is the plaintiff? NECSD board majority, do you see any conflict of interest by having the acting superintendent both suing and defending the district in the same lawsuit? How is that even feasible or sensible? Do you see any conflict of suing an employee as she tried to eliminate their position? Are you aware that she is looking to have her prosecution of the district's legal bills paid for by the taxpayers of the district? NECSD board majority, were you aware of the multiple lawsuits against the district by the acting superintendent? Were you aware of the very costly settlements the district had with the acting superintendent? Were you aware of the multiple suspensions? It seems that the board majority does not care about considering any of this public information and how it affects the district finances and in turn our students and taxpayers. If you were aware of all this public information but still felt that this was an ideal choice for acting superintendent, you are negligent in your duties, and it seems that the board majority is willing to give the keys to the cash register to the acting superintendent. Shame on you.
Unlike the previous slanderous comments, I'm going to ask a question of the board. But let me properly introduce myself. Good evening, Acting Superintendent, President Bello, Vice President Boucher, esteemed members of the board, students, fellow parents, the vocal, noisy, and at times obnoxious minority present here. I'm referring to numbers, not race. And the vast silent majority watching from home as we prepare to vote next week. My name is David Ryan, and I'm here to talk about the budget. I'm not here to slander anyone. I've been in Newburgh and New Windsor as a resident since 1973. And there's a question at the end of this, believe me. There's a question. I gave you your due, please. I've been a Newburgh and New Windsor resident since 1973, and I'm a proud 1998 NFA graduate. I'm also a parent of 3 scholars who have experienced our district firsthand.
Mr. Ryan,
This is about the budget.
do you have a question
I
on the
do.
budget? You
I do have a question. I have 2 sons. This is what, because I have a daughter in this district. I do have a question about the budget. I have 2 sons who graduated from NFA. One a rising senior at Alfred.
What is the question,
And
Mr. Ryan?
another received the prestigious $20,000 Frederica Warner Scholarship from NFA and graduated from Worcester Polytechnic University and now is entering his 3rd year of medical school and preparing to join the U.S.
Mr. Ryan.
States Air Force. There is a question coming, Ms. Bello.
We need
You
you
will
to
have your
ask
question.
the question.
My daughter, a rising senior at NFA, is thriving despite...
Mr. Ryan, you need to ask the question now.
All right,
Sir,
very
we
simple.
asked for
All right.
questions on the budget.
On the budget, last year we had a budget prepared by this individual that spoke here and was allowed to speak fully. And we had a raise, which was just shown to us on the screen, of almost 3% in taxes. And this person's chastising you.
Point of order. Speakers need to address the board and not the audience.
And this speaker is chastising the board and questioning this budget, which, as an individual,
Point of
I think
order,
we
Ms.
should be
Bello.
passed. So my question to you is, why is this budget 0 increase while last year's budget had a 3% increase? Why? Why was it mismanaged last year? Why? Who was in charge? You were the board president. Why are you able to produce a
Next
0%
question,
increase
please.
this year? I'm asking him, why are you able to produce a 0% increase this year? But last year you produced a 3% raise.
Does anyone else have any questions on the budget?
Hi. In understanding the budget and learning about legislation, this is a learning year for me, learning that the budget was just passed 4 days ago and signed into law by Governor Hochul on May 9th. So this is a proposed budget, but not the definite budget in the end. I wanted to just get some clarification on that this is a proposed budget, and that because of the surplus from last year, and just wanted to be clear on any surpluses or anything that was done last year had any benefits for this year proposed on that budget. I just wanted some clarification for the audience because sometimes I need clarification as far as what the budget means and what it says, and I just wanted to clarify some surplus from last year and what good was done last year was able to have a good positive impact on this year's budget. So I just wanted some clarification as far as that goes. I don't know if you're allowed to clarify or we're just commenting, but this is a proposed budget, but not a definite budget. So that I just wanted some clarity for everyone here. Thanks.
Are there any other questions on the budget?
I have one. My question is whether the calculations that one of the other speakers was asking regarding litigation costs, I'd like to know if in calculating those numbers, you're not only contemplating the acting superintendent's lawsuit, but if you're considering the ramifications of the current reassignments, firings, and if that's been calculated into the litigation budget as well. Thank you.
Madam President,
Mr. Howard.
was there a reason why we didn't answer Ms. Wallace's question? I mean, this is the Q&A part of the budget presentation, isn't it?
Ms. Roaring is not here.
Can somebody answer for her?
We can provide the answers in writing.
The problem, okay, so the problem with that, the budget hearing is to inform the public on our budget that has to be voted on next Tuesday. Aren't they entitled to answers so that it may determine their vote? How they vote on the budget? If we're gonna give them the questions after they vote, what's the purpose of that?
Who said it would be after their vote? After the vote.
Okay, but the Q&A, we're being videoed live. We have people in the community. That's not a question that we can answer?
We never have an ask and answer questions.
What's the purpose of a budget hearing?
To express their concerns and whether their support or whether they don't support it.
Madam President, I've had my hand up.
Ms. Paletti.
This is Dr. Bond's budget that she presented to the community. I believe it's Dr. Bond's obligation to provide those answers to the community.
I will be responding in writing, and I will put it on the website for anyone to hear before the 20th. Thank you very much.
Okay. Would anyone else like to speak, please? About the budget?
Hi, my name is Tristan Welling. I'm a resident of New Windsor. I've had 4 sons go through the Newburgh City School District. My question is, last year our tax levy was increased by roughly 1%, I believe, to cover the gap, as I know it, due to a delay in state aid. So I think a question was asked earlier if that surplus was a part of this budget, right? The money that was raised above and beyond what the state gave us is then now included in this budget. I believe that's the case, so that would be my question is, how is that raised tax levy included in the budget? But it begs the question that if taxes were raised by mistake because of a gap and timing of state aid, why are our taxes not going down? Why is this budget not, if this is a cost savings board, right, that is, majority is here to save the taxpayers' money and prevent further increases, if there was a mistake or a gap or some timing issue, why was that not taken into consideration when this budget was put together? And why are our taxes not going down this year? That's my question.
Anyone else? Ms. Paletti?
I'd also like to point out at last year's budget hearing, when there was a tax increase, the superintendent did answer questions in real time on the floor, defending and providing clarification on the budget. And I think that it's very telling that this year our leadership refuses to do so, and I would like the community to take notice of that.
Agreed.
Is there anyone else? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Oh. Ms. Boucher?
Can we, it's not on the budget, but can we finish the MBK presentation before we move forward? Can we finish the MBK presentation before we move forward to something else?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be brief. MBK has what they call milestone pillars. And pillars 3, 4, and 5 of the initiative resonate strongly with me. Pillar 3 is graduation from high school, ready for college and career. 4, completing post-secondary education or training. And 5, entering the workforce. The My Brother's Keeper framework provides structure, mentorship, and measurable outcomes that can directly address these critical areas and bring proactiveness to our young men. I've seen the power of this initiative firsthand, and 2 MBK fellows present here tonight, both of whom I've had the privilege of teaching in middle school. Watching their growth has reaffirmed that this work matters. Thank you for your time and your commitment to creating equitable pathways for all students in our district. Thank you.
I will honor the sacrifice of my ancestors. I believe in me. I will pursue my dreams. I will help others along the way. Family on the MBK on stage. 1, 2, 3. Family. 4, 5, 6. MBK.
I would be remiss if I did not ask our board trustee, Mr. Howard, to come to the center with our board president and our superintendent, so our boys may take a picture with all of you, please. You three. Let's go. Kyle, come baby. Get up there in the middle. Please take a picture. We're just missing Carlos. Mr. Carlos Barrios had to go, and today is his birthday. He's going home to celebrate his feliz cumpleaños.
We're still getting settled. Yeah, no, we're good. You guys are good. You guys are good. Yep, no, you're good. You're good. Ready? 1, 2. Mr. McNeil, are you ready?
I'll let you know. I need to go to my office and get stuff out.
Nah, not for me.
I do.
You going
Thank you for an amazing presentation. Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to say that the incredible group of young men that you saw before you this evening are doing incredible work. They represent the Newburgh well up in Albany. Dr. Bourne was up there with us, and she can attest to the attitude and behavior and the great, incredible representation that these young men did in Albany and in front of the leadership of education in New York State. The Board of Regents Chancellor, they personally had conversations with them. They shared their ideas of education and what's going forward with the seniors next year. There's a young man that was a keynote speaker, Jordan Pierre, who blew the roof off the place, and they had personal conversation and spaces with them. But I just want to say that this My Brother's Keeper program is something I am so proud to be a part of, and it is really bringing back dividends in our district and our communities. Because when these young men go out and they represent us well. And when they go down to the middle school levels and elementary school levels, and they share out with the young scholars in our district, all I hear throughout the community when I run into parents is, when can my child become a member of MBK? When can my child, can you get MBK in my elementary school? Can you get MBK in the middle schools? I mean, this program is burgeoning, it's just blowing up. And I think that we need, as an organization, as a district, we need to find ways to push this work down into the middle schools and into the elementary schools. But bigger than that, we need to find a way to create sustainability of this program when the grant wears out. Because this work should be done in our districts, it should be done in our schools, it should be done in our communities. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you speaking about that, Mr. Howard. So New York State launched in March My Sister's Keeper program. Over the 2 iterations for the Challenge Grant and the Family and Community Engagement Grant, we have not been allowed to support any of those monies with the My Sister's Keeper program. We've been waiting and waiting for this new grant to drop, and we're still waiting, but New York State has launched it, so the hope is that the money for the My Sister's Keeper program will drop soon and we can start that. The other thing is that is really important to know is that My Brother's Keeper is not just for students of color. It's for every student, every young man, every young woman. We don't turn anybody away. It's for every single child who wants a brother, who wants a sister, who needs a mentor, who needs someone to talk to, who needs help with tutoring and homework and everything else. It's for every single kid, because it's every go back every day. And that said, I'd like to invite all of the board trustees to our My Brother's Keeper coronation ceremony on May 30th. You will have invitations coming from Mr. Matthew McCoy. For those that are listening, I'm sorry. It's a small venue. I would like to get it to be larger and bigger, and it's coming. Thank you.
Okay, now that the budget hearing has concluded and the presentation has concluded, and before we proceed with regular district business, I want to take a moment to address the current climate surrounding our board and leadership. In light of the recent misinformation circulating on social media regarding members of the board and our acting superintendent, and considering the potential for disruption at this critical time, I believe it is in the best interest of the district and our community to ensure that our discussions remain focused on responsible governance. Therefore, at this point, I will be asking for a motion to be made to postpone tonight's regular meeting business to a date later this month that is yet to be determined. This decision is not about avoiding discussion, but about ensuring that our conversations are grounded in facts and conducted in a manner that upholds the integrity of our school district. Our priority is to serve our students and community effectively without undue interference or distraction at this pivotal time. So can I have a motion to postpone this regular meeting to a date this month that is yet to be determined?
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
On the question. Discussion.
Mr. Howard?
So, I need clarification. So, we're canceling your vote, putting a motion on the floor to postpone this meeting from this point going forward, like we're leaving?
Yes.
What about? Okay.
Mr. DeRay?
Yeah, if I could point out to the community, I requested a special meeting 3 times last week for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night. And
And Saturday.
and Saturday. And I was told in writing that why can't the business that I wanted to discuss wait until
Point
this
of
week?
order.
What's the point of order?
Point of order. The discussion is in regard to the motion.
Oh, this absolutely is. Because now we can't talk about what you said we're going to talk about. You said, bring it to the meeting on the 13th. Now I can't.
We will at the next meeting.
But we needed a special meeting and no one was available for 4 days in a row, so we waited patiently until this meeting, and now you're adjourning it to further delay discussing important business.
I hope the community is paying attention. This is outrageous and done on purpose. This is beyond the pale.
Mr. Howard.
Yes, Madam President. I've been on this board for 13 years. I've never seen a motion like this before because I'm kind of confused. We have a public meeting scheduled, and because of things that have been on social media, we're moving to postpone our meeting the week before the budget is to be voted on, the week before. I mean, I don't understand the reasoning. What is the purpose?
I articulated my reasoning in my
Well,
statement.
I didn't understand your articulation. So you're pushing for a motion to postpone our regularly scheduled business meeting because of things that have been on social media.
And the constant misinformation, excuse me, please don't speak from the gallery.
Constant misinformation.
Misinformation all year long. If that's the case, every meeting should have been canceled because social media has been all throughout the year. Sounds like election.
There are no comments from the gallery.
Can we get a ruling from David Shaw? Is this allowed? Is this normal, David?
Yes.
Is there a consensus for me to answer? Okay. So the board must have at least one regular meeting per month. That's what the law says.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Thank you, Madam President. So we're wanting to move this meeting to a different time. We have capital project update, which we have personnel here to update us about the capital project. We have all these other positions we're trying to authorize, leave of absences, retirements, resignations. We're just going to go ahead and push that off to be determined. I think that's a little ridiculous. I've never even heard of such a thing.
Roll call.
Ms. Peterson had her hand up.
Oh, she's not a member of the board.
Something to say. I have something to say. The reason for this, I can tell you what the reason is. The reason is censorship of the community, and it's to avoid being held accountable for financially, fiscally irresponsible decision-making.
Roll call, please.
Madam President, I want a question. So I need everybody to understand, we're about to take a vote to cancel our regularly scheduled business meeting for the purpose of putting censorship on the public, speaking, doing non-agenda, agenda items, because that's probably what we're trying to avoid, because it couldn't be possibly to take care of our business. So I just need people to understand, you're held accountable to the public when you vote. When you say you want transparency, when you say you want clarity, when you say that we want the public to know what we're doing and understand what we're doing, I need you to know when you vote on this item, you're telling a story, you're putting out there how you truly feel about transparency and how you feel about our public.
Your dissent has been duly noted, Mr. Duray. Roll call, please.
No, you cannot censor trustees. Mr. Duray and Mr. Bergarelli would like to speak. You do not have the authority to censor them.
Just to recap the evening, we had a budget hearing where we don't answer questions, followed by a presentation which was wonderful, followed by the board president saying because of things that might occur on social media, we are now canceling the entire meeting, which is a charade. You're canceling public comment because you know there's not a lot of people out there that are going to stand up and cheer for you, or anybody. That's what's happening here. This is absolute censorship of a community. We may only have to have one meeting a month. This is censorship of the community, and you should be ashamed. I'm just going to tell you that. You should be ashamed. And anybody who votes yes for this, shame on you too.
Mr. Bergarelli.
Thank you, Madam President. I am a board member, a trustee, and Ms. Peterson had her hand up. She is the second in command of the district. I would like to hear what she was going to say.
I would too.
As the superintendent, I am speaking right now, and I am saying, as the superintendent.
Yell out there.
I'll wait, because I'm not having people yell at me. I'll wait.
Okay, Dr. Bond. Do the vote. Roll call, Matthew.
Roll call to postpone. Ms. Thomasina Bello?
Yes.
Censorship. Ms. Mackenzie Boucher? Yes. Ms. Victoria Boucher?
Yes.
Censor. Mr. Bergarelli?
No.
You're running for the
Mr.
board,
Doré?
Victoria and Fred.
Mr. Howard?
Absolutely no.
Ms. Politi?
No.
Mr. Stewart? Yes. Ms. Christine Bello?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I've never heard of this before. This is censorship to its nth degree. And to not to let the deputy superintendent speak is a very large slap in the face and disrespect to her. We pay her a lot of money.